Welcome to another episode of Reactionary Politics, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. James Comer is testifying or talking at the House Committee on Oversight. And he's talking about fraud, and Jasmine Crockett ethers him. She destroys him. Imagine someone on the right talking about fraud on the left. With Donald Trump in office, Donald Trump has defrauded the government. Donald Trump has fraudulent business practices. Donald Trump has been convicted of 34 felonies. Donald Trump is attracted to his own daughter sexually. Donald Trump owned these pageants where he would go in there and watch these women change and watch little girls change their clothes and all this just because he could do it. This is wild work. These Republicans, man. Let's get into it.
The Trump administration has taken a whole-of-government approach to rooting out fraud. The Trump administration has already uncovered at least $9 billion in fraud. These criminals have stolen taxpayer dollars from all Americans to fund lavish cars, homes, and vacations here in the U.S. and abroad. Some of this stolen money is even allegedly going overseas to support terrorists. Our witnesses, the chairwoman and—
You mean as in $3.3 billion going over to Israel to support Israel and their genocide against the Palestinian people? You mean terrorists like that? That the American dollar, taxpayer dollar is going to? The fact that Israel has received more funding from America than any other country since 1975? Is that what you are referring to?
Two members of the Minnesota House of Representatives Fraud Prevention and State Agency Oversight Policy Committee have been sounding the alarm on this fraud for years. Democrats have attempted to distract the American people from this widespread fraud and accuse investigators of racism. This should not be a partisan issue, but they clearly do not take this issue seriously.
Texas Rep and Senate candidate Jasmine Crockett wasn't about to let Republicans talk about fraud without bringing some receipts.
I just have one quick question. I have not been here the entire hearing, but I don't think this question has been posed for each of you, and we can start at the far end. Do you believe that all Somalis are engaged in fraud?
I do not, and I'd like to—
Okay, just yes or no. Next.
Of course not.
Oh, absolutely not. We have good Somali people in our state.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay, thank you so much. I just want to make sure I level set because it seems like we want to continue to, especially as we just heard those particular articles entered into the record, we want to continue to just make it seem as if you are Somali, then somehow you are a fraudster. And this administration has decided that it wants a target on their backs. And so when my colleague, Ms. Randall, decided that she wanted to talk about the threats that are being made towards various Somali people, the reason she brought it up is because this particular side of the aisle has a tendency of, if one person does something bad, especially if they are an immigrant, then we are going to cast aside that entire community. So I wanted to level set, and I appreciate your honesty because that's something that we very rarely get from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. In fact, if we want to talk about fraud, I got a lot of fraud that we're going to talk about because we're going to get into this, but I am very curious to hear. Let me ask you, Mr. Ballou. Are you aware of allegations that $50,000 in taxpayer dollars have been given to someone that is currently sitting in this administration by the name of Tom Homan? Are you aware? Okay, that's a yes.
I am.
Okay, and last I checked, and correct me if I'm wrong if you have different information, but he was given that $50,000 in exchange for being able to provide contracts and kickbacks to people as soon as Trump was going to get into office. The DOJ was actually investigating this, but as soon as Trump got into office, last I checked, he actually said, go ahead and throw away that case.
So it was a Department of Justice investigation, and he accepted the money from an undercover FBI agent in cash.
Are you aware as to whether or not we ever got that $50,000 back?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. Are you aware as to whether or not this committee has decided to investigate that?
I'm not.
Are you aware as to whether or not any committee in Congress has decided to investigate the fact that we know that he took $50,000 from an undercover officer, and yet we still don't have that money, nor does he have any charges?
I'm not.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's get into it. We're living through the most corrupt presidential administration in American history, a $300 million ballroom, a $230 million payout from the Department of Justice because the president got his feelings hurt because he had to be investigated for being a criminal. Hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent at Trump-owned properties around the country, Trump-branded wine being sold at the Coast Guard exchanges, American taxpayer dollars being spent on DHS propaganda ads on Truth Social, awarding federal contracts to corporations in exchange for campaign contributions. Kash Patel flew his girlfriend around the country on a multi-million-dollar jet that taxpayers paid for. Kristi Noem gave companies she's affiliated with hundreds of millions of tax dollars, then went out and spent another $200 million on 2 private jets for her travel. For 12 months, this administration has been taking billions of tax.
This is your people. This is your government. This is your cabinet, the Nazi, neo-Nazi regime, the Trump regime, $300 million ballroom, private jets, hundreds of, and James Comer is up here talking about fraud on the left. He names $9 billion and $9 million in fraud and accuses these individuals of being fraudulent when she just named off a plethora of things that this cabinet has defrauded the taxpayers with for their own personal gain. The irony of it all, the sickness of it all, to point your finger at someone else when you are Trump has so many fraudulent business practices that he has been under investigation for years, from the 70s, 1970s, for his fraudulent business practices. And this man is here talking about somebody's frauding someone a $300 million ballroom in the White House. A $200 million something else. He talking about somebody's frauding someone. Brothers, everyone, we need to wake up. Sisters, we need to wake up. This is just propaganda that these people like to put, these right-wing extremists like to push out, disseminate this false sort of information to influence the people. That's it. It's just inflammatory, designed to inflame the listener. But when you unpack the truth, we find out that the real frauds are on the other side.
Taxpayer dollars from American people and have been giving it away to their own companies in the form of tax cuts, government contracts, or other government funded subsidies. So Congress has a role in getting rid of fraud, I will admit that, in any federally funded government program. However, I think the fraud that the American people are concerned about is that the Republicans are taking away Americans' health care so that ultra billionaires can get more tax cuts. The real fraud is the dehumanization and demonization of the working class Americans and immigrants to distract folks away from corporate socialism that's happening because of the Republicans. So this is truly the definition of throwing away the baby with the bathwater. The Republican philosophy is that if the cost of living for the average American increases, they're on their own. But if the cost of doing business increases for the wealthiest people on earth, well, then it's the government job to bail them out. But I want to get to my last question because, Mr. Ballou, I got to give you a chance. He's been issuing pardons for numerous people who have defrauded the American people. And Republicans on this committee, yeah, just as quiet as the room just got, right? So, Mr. Ballou, talk to me about how the Trump administration has welcomed fraud across government by purging DOJ attorneys and shuttering ethics office across the federal government.
Well, you know, one of the things that's been a common theme in this discussion so far is potential government employee involvement in some of these schemes. That hasn't been proven yet, but it does seem to be alleged. The concern that I have is the office that would prosecute that in the Department of Justice, the Public Integrity Section, has been largely defunded and decimated.
Thank you so much. And my time has expired, but I do have some UCs, Mr. Chairman.
So imagine that. Is everyone keeping up here? Keep up, because Jasmine talks pretty fast. She already had her stuff prepared. She's sharp and she gets right to it, but let's keep up. I have to keep up as well. And what we're listening to is that the people in the DOJ, the Public Integrities Branch has been defunded. So they cannot do their job. They can't do their job and investigate these fraudulent exercises by the administration and others. This is a form of fraud, deception. But this is what they do. Here at the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, talking about fraud when their hands are filthy, their hands are bloody. They're frauding the people and then getting rid of the people that are there to investigate said fraud. Now she's about to talk about the people that Donald Trump has pardoned. These people who are responsible for frauding and defrauding the American people out of millions and even billions of dollars, we're about to see, have all been pardoned by Donald Trump. You defraud the American people out of billions of dollars, and I'll let you come home. He has no respect for the people that voted him in. He has no respect for his own constituents. He has no respect for American people. He started taking the food stamp from red states. He started taking benefits from the blue states, the states that did not vote for him. He just defunded many of their programs in retribution. But these are still the American people. When Obama took office, he said that he's going to welcome in both sides, even the people that he said in his speech, even the people that did not vote for me, even the Republicans, I'm your president too. And I have a feeling that he meant that. Hell, all the damn love he showed the Republicans, he had to admit it. But not Donald Trump. If you're not one of him, not only Republican, but a far right-wing Republican, a racist one, if you're not that, you're done. He will excoriate you, castigate you quickly, with no compunction whatsoever. Early, she talked about a situation where the individual received $50,000. The money has never been returned, and Donald Trump came into office and said, don't worry about that. Drop the case. Let's not even talk about that. That's nothing. I'm finna pardon people that took billions. We ain't worried about that. And James Comer is here talking about fraud? Really? Unbelievable.
You want to do them now?
I do.
Okay.
The first one is from Truth Out. Trump grants clemency to executive who led $205 million Medicare fraud scheme.
Without objection, to ordered.
The next one is Trump commutes sentence of Dr. Solomon Melgen, eye doctor, found guilty of Medicare fraud.
Without objection, to ordered.
The next one, healthcare fraudster Philip Esfermaze is latest Trump clemency recipient to be arrested. He defrauded more than $1 billion from Medicare.
Without objection, to ordered.
Trump pardons nursing home owner and supporter convicted of $7 million in tax evasion.
Without objection, to ordered.
Trump
and
pardons,
we'll want all that stuff to put in the record. So,
I will. I got you. Trump pardons cost victims and taxpayers $1.3 billion, House Judiciary Committee Democrats review says.
All right, without objection, so ordered.
I mean, for Republicans to talk about corruptions in any way.
Wow. And so this is Jackson White, TYT. This is his channel right here, right there. Jackson White, TYT. Shout out to him. Wow. Whew. There you have it. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. So Jasmine Crockett, yes, she let it be known how she felt and she came with receipts. This individual's here talking about fraud that has not been investigated or taken seriously or whatever. And his whole cabinet has been defrauding the American people since Trump has been in office. The first time and this time, the people who triple Trump need to understand this. This is ludicrous. She just came with the receipts. Really? You individuals have Trump got a $300 million ballroom in the White House. $200 million in Christie Nome. Trump, his entire practice in business for his entire life has been brought into question. They have no leg to stand on. They don't have the morality to talk about someone else being unethical or fraudulent. The temerity of these people is really unbelievable. The gall that they muster up on a daily basis needs to be studied. Wild work. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Stay safe, stay free, and power to the people.